Okay, Darren, welcome to the THQ podcast.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks for having me.
This is the first time we've actually recorded it like this, and so what I wanted to do is I wanted to get your view on what joining THQ was like. Because when we first met and we first sat down to the consultation, it was very clear to me that you wasn't just joining to get fit, you wasn't just joining a gym, you had a clear objective of what you wanted to achieve, and that's what I want THQ to be known for, getting people's results, and also want it to be known for something that actually really does have a big impact on people's lives. So, introduce yourself. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
So my name's Darren Whitehouse. I live in Buxton. I'm 44 years old and married. I've got 4 kids, ranging from 17, soon to be 18, down to 5. So pretty busy family life. I work for the government, but I'm lucky enough that I can work from home, which gives me a lot of flexibility in terms of, hitting the gym, etc. But I suppose in many ways I'm quite a normal sort of like middle-aged bloke who sort of let himself go a bit, really, to drift into bad habits. And I just decided it was kind of time to do something about it, really.
Yeah, sounds good. Brilliant. Yeah, so you seem very busy. So obviously, the excuse of not having enough time is sort of prioritising it is something that I did think it was very clear that you had that in your mind. And the way THQ set up, obviously we've got the 6-week programme, and then we've got the 12-week programme, which you are currently doing. So I would like to point out to everybody listening and watching that you are only halfway through your transformation.
It's a work in progress.
And it sort of impressed me so much, your mindset, the progress you've made so much. That's why I wanted people to understand from this perspective, only halfway through and being very motivated. So we set people on the 6 weeks, which you absolutely smashed. You got amazing results. We worked on obviously building your habits, which was the main thing. And then we work on getting you to the 12-week shoot program, which, as you've seen, is a little bit more in depth. We work out your calories. We give you a little bit more stricter process, really, but you seem very motivated and took it all in your stride. And then obviously we do, after that, we continue to sort of get you on this new body weight, what we're at, and then we try to drive your foods up after. So the process is very, it's very thought out, and it's very sort of driven to get you the best results. And again, this is why I wanted just to bring you on, because it's not just about joining a gym and getting fit. It really isn't. It's about sort of making that commitment and seeing them changes. So why did you decide to join THQ compared to just thinking getting fit? What's your experience in the past as well?
Yeah, so I think in the past I've gone through, I suppose, what I would call phases of trying to get in shape. Going back to sort of 2010, I did a half marathon, and trained. I just decided one day I was going to do a half marathon and trained for it for like 4 months, and sort of pounded the pavements and lost a bit of weight and did the half marathon, felt really good. And then, unless you tackle the underlying bad habits, you end up back where you started, and I did. And so I ended my sort of like maintenance weight, as it was, when I was eating whatever I wanted, was around 100 kilos. And the trouble is, the older you get, it becomes easier to stay like that, really. Especially if you've got kids and a job, and you see a lot of other people around your age who look about the same, and you surround yourself with people who kind of like have the same attitude towards food, and so you end up sort of like doing the same sort of things. So if I wasn't doing running, then I'd sort of say, okay, I'm going to lose weight, and I'd go on I'd get a fitness program at home, and I'd do that for like two weeks all in. But then I'd sort of lose motivation, or I'd skip a day here or there, and then you'd get back to where you were. And so I ended up being a bit of a yo-yo between sort of 100 kilos and maybe down to about 93 if I was feeling good. So it was really only having failed so many times that I thought, well, there's got to be something different out there, really. And I'll admit to having walked past THQ in Buxton several times and not think, what the hell is going on in there, because it's all frosted glass. But I just thought I'd pluck up the courage to drop you an email and come in for the consultation and see what it's all about, really. And haven't regretted it since.
Brilliant. So how long, just so people have got sort of an understanding, how long have you actually been a member for? How much weight have you lost? What your clothes sizes? How much inches have you lost?
Okay, so I joined. I think our consultation was was in the first of June, I think, first, second or third of June. It was that kind of weekend. And I always remember it because it was my birthday weekend. And actually on my birthday, which is the 5th of June, now I was doing a gym session, so I had a completely sort of like dry birthday because I was really ready to do it, you know. So I joined in June, just signed up to the 6-week program. I think I weighed about 99 kilos, but I didn't have any scales of my own at that time. I was using my sort of, you know, mother-in-law scales. So I was about 99 kilos, but feeling really big. I was size 38 trousers. Yeah. I'd just been to Africa with work. And I was only seeing a picture of myself standing up in a room, you know, in South Africa. And I thought, oh my God, that's kind of embarrassing, really. So it was like a real sort of shock seeing a picture of myself. So I've gone from size 38, these are size 34 jeans, so lost about 4 inches already. Weight-wise, I'm down to about 86.5 kilos. I work in kilos, not pounds. Yep. So I think that's about 25, 26 pounds-ish I've lost in, 3 months. Yeah. So I'm roughly averaging sort of £2 a week, I think, give or take.
Yeah. So to point this out, it is for the time we're recording this, it is about 3 months your journey so far.
Yes, correct. Yes. So it's 3rd of June to where we are now, sort of 12th of September. And I've just started about 2 weeks ago the 12-week shoot. Yeah. So it's coming off. Some weeks, I mean, I know, you know, I'm lucky enough that you're my coach, and I know I sort of bombard you sometimes and say, oh, I've not lost any weight today. And I'm still at that stage where I'm a bit getting on the scales in the morning and desperate to see it coming off because, you know, I've got this date looming of 23rd of November get in front of a camera. Yeah. But I'm just going to have to put some faith in the process, I think, to a certain extent. But the weight is coming off. It just doesn't come off in a linear fashion, you know.
I'm glad you brought that up because weight is such a big thing. And I think over the years in the fitness industry, it's been from like everybody focusing on weight to now weight doesn't matter. And I think we just have to have a sensible approach in looking at weight. We have to look at loads of different factors. But just to keep it really simple for this podcast, weight should be coming off. Yeah. If you're looking in the mirror and you've joined THQ for a reason, or you want to get fit, get healthy and lose body fat, then your weight should take in a decline. Yeah. But what we do have to understand is there is going to be times when you don't lose any weight. It doesn't mean you've not lost any body fat. Yeah. There's going to be times for a numerous amount of reasons that your weight is going to spike up and down. But if you're consistent to the process, which you obviously have done, then you will see the progression will be there. So if you're doing everything you should have been doing, which 100% you have, if you don't lose any weight, you won't get downhearted by that because you've got that, you know you've been doing the right things. Exactly. So the motivation still continues, and I think that's when people get stuck in the cycle. They look for the scales to save them. So they'll have a really bad weekend, but they'll get on the scales, and for whatever reason they might have lost weight, and that saved them, and that's their justification for not actually going all into the process. So,
but I think in the past, you know, when I was talking about my sort of failed attempts at sort of getting in shape. I would sort of have a bad weekend or go out of beers and a curry, and get on the scales, and I might not have put any weight on, and I think I've got away with that. And then you get into the habit of I can get away with it. Whereas now, I get on the scales, having nailed all my nutrition, and I've not lost any weight, but I'm like, oh, that's all right, I'm not bothered about that. Yeah. So it's a mindset change in that sense. I'm less stressed about it now than I was. Yeah. But I also know that I'm not there yet, you know, so it is very much a journey for me, but, you know, I'm kind of enjoying the ride at the moment. So.
Brilliant. So one thing that stood out for me when we sat down for the consultation was that you, like I said, you clearly thought that this wasn't just a gym where you're just going to get fit and just attend a few classes. And we sort of, you made sort of the hashtag up of when you was messaging me going all in. Yeah. And I knew you understood what I was trying to say about going all in. So I talk about it a lot in the videos that I do. Would you be able to just give me sort of insight of what, when I sat down and said, right down, we need to go all into this fitness journey. Yeah. And I think I've spoken about it quite a bit of times. Fitness is like rolling a big stone up a hill. It's very hard, and this is the going all in approach. But it's easier to hold that stone at the top of the hill than it was to push it up, and that's like maintaining a body shape. So, you just give me a view on what your going all in approach.
Yeah, I think part of it was just literally looking around the gym in Buxton at all the pictures, you know, and you know, people who are real people, and I think that really makes a difference when you're starting out because. Well, when you're starting out something like this, it is really hard. You know, and there's no getting away from it because I mean I remember, you know, I think the day I had my consultation with you, I went to my mum's and she was doing a big Sunday dinner, and it was like, you know, beef, Yorkshire pudding, roast potatoes, the lot. And I'm there with like a John West, tuna salad. And my mum's like, "What are you eating that for?" But it's because you look around, you think, "Oh, I want to look like that."
Yeah.
But at the start, it's really hard because you're putting all the effort in the first few days, but you don't look any different. And all you feel is a bit sore and a bit grumpy. And it's hard work because you haven't tracked your calories properly before. So you're having to scan every barcode you find, and it takes ages to make any dinners. But it gets easier, So my view on going all in was, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this investment in time and in money and in sacrifice and in the things I'm asking my family to do, then I want to get the best results I can. And if that means doing something different and doing it properly and just making a commitment to it, then I'm going to do it. So that was kind of my philosophy. But the thing about habits is, I'm quite interested in the whole area of habits, and actually habits kind of save us a lot of time, and bad habits save us time. But I think what's easy to forget is that good habits are formed just as easily as bad ones. And once they're formed, they're just as resistant to change as bad habits. But you have to it's hard to sort of get out of the first ones, if you know what I mean, to get to the second. But you can make them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so like good habits, like it's like driving a car. You don't have to think about driving a car.
That's
so
right.
if you just program yourself a little bit to do them, you can do them automatically.
Yeah.
Something I picked up on there that was quite interesting. That I think it's what a lot of people struggle with. At the start, they expect to see really, really quick results, and quick results are only going to end one way, and you're going to revert back to old ways. So there's that start position where you start, no one really knows what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've not changed because you haven't been coming along enough.
Yeah.
You do things like eat differently to what other people are doing, and people are like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And that motivation, where did that motivation come from? Because you still look the same, everything's the same, but everyone's sort of not criticising you, but just sort of making it a little bit harder around you. How did you overcome that? And now you've seen results.
Yeah.
How's other people's opinion changed on you maybe tracking calories a little bit more or eating a little bit different sometimes? How's that?
Yeah, so in terms of the motivation side, I mean, a lot of it came from my wife, because I said to her, I want to do this, and she's just been really supportive. And having that kind of that rock, in the house who says, I get why you're doing it. You just got to man up and sort of like, put up with the discomfort for a bit or the change.
So did you speak to her about how important it was to you?
Yeah, so I said, look, I said I really want to do this, and I think, to be fair to her, she probably thought, oh well, I'll let him do it, like he's done before. But I think then she quickly saw that I was really committed to it, and she's been fantastically supportive of it. So I think that kind of really helped. So I forgot the second part of the question. This was around.
So eating differently has obviously the motivation when you wasn't seeing results. It's quite hard at the start, and you have to do a lot of things differently, and then other people start criticising what you're doing, and you can't really justify it because you still look the same. Yeah. So how is it?
I think it's a lot of it is a leap of faith. So you have to. Part of me was always convinced that, well, even looking around the pictures, you think, well, these people are just different to me. They're kind of like, their bodies must be made of different atoms than mine. But actually, we all lose weight at different rates, but we're all made of the same stuff. So I had to almost like get into my mind, well, I'm not made of anything different than Carl, or from Ryan, or from any of the people that have had these amazing journeys. So all I've got to do is just do the right things. And if I'll give myself the 6 weeks, I think part of the time for I'll do the 6 weeks, then I'll see where I am, how I feel, because I was still in that mindset of, well, I'll lose a bit of weight and I'll feel better about myself. But after the 6 weeks finished, I think I actually almost expected to start straight away on the 12-week program, but then I realised, well, it doesn't start until the end of August. So I'm like, oh, what do I do? I'm just going to carry on, because actually my mindset had then changed from I want to lose weight. At the end of the 6 weeks, it became, well, I want to get in the best condition I can before the shoot starts so I can then get the best results I can. And now I'm thinking, well, it doesn't matter if I'm not where I want to be in November. It's the end goal that I'm kind of after. So as you kind of like go through the journey, you do lean on people, and you get days when you're grumpy. You think, I don't want to eat Greek yogurt. But that's generally speaking, those days are few and far between. They tended to be towards the start, where you're kind of used to reaching for a can of beer or a takeaway menu. But actually, once you get into a good habit with it, and you get into a good routine, particularly around meal times, because I do all the cooking in the house. So that's been quite a challenge, actually, because it was very clear to me at the start that I don't have the sort of lifestyle with a family where I can say, well, I'm just going to have chicken and veg, you know, because I kind of like cooking, so I have to like try and create meals that hit all the macros. So I spend a lot of time at the start on MyFitnessPal actually creating the recipes, you know, and putting in like, you know, teaspoon of cumin powder and a clove and just adding it up. Yeah. So that enabled me to lean on that one of those days when I was feeling like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to eat. I just look at my menus and then I've got, you know, 600 calories there, I can just have that and I know exactly it's going to fit. So that's kind of a combination of how I did it, really.
Brilliant. That's absolutely spot on to me. And I'm glad that I didn't realise you did all the cooking. I think that's because that's another excuse that people say, well, I can't eat differently. I do all the cooking. I'm not cooking, you know, 6 different meals, but you don't have to. You just have to, if you are the cook and that's your responsibility, then if you want to transform, it's your responsibility to do what you said. And I'm sure it takes you half the time as what it does when you first started to prepare the meals.
It does, absolutely. And actually, the recipes I cook, they're generally 15-20 minute recipes, and they're all high protein. Generally speaking, lower carb. You know, I've got plenty of recipe books, and my wife's quite happy with it. You know, she just says, "I'll eat whatever you put in front of me," but it's generally nice food. You know, so I don't struggle with taste or anything like that. I don't feel like I'm suffering in any way from a nutrition perspective. I feel like I'm eating really good food and tasty food as well. I look forward to my dinners. You know?
Brilliant, yeah. That's really good. Something I picked up on is you say you generally work from home, but then how often would you say you have to go and do work away?
So I work at home. Generally speaking, I'm in London 1 or 2 days a week, usually overnight. So that's kind of one part of my travel, and the other part of the travel is international work. So I think 2 weeks into the 6-week transformation program, I had to go to Singapore for a week to do some work there. So I was out there for a week. So that was okay. Well, I knew it was coming up, and I couldn't just say to work I'm not going because I'm on a 6-week program. I had to fit my life around. Everything has to revolve, you know, like the planets. Really, you can't just say, well, I can't go anywhere for 6 weeks because I'm doing this. You know, much as you'd like to be able to. So it just takes planning. So with London, when I'm in London, for example, like I'm on the shoot now, so I know that I'm in London Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So I'm planning ahead. So I'm saying, okay, well, I've booked in on the 6 o'clock session on Monday morning, which is going to be a bit of an early session, but I can get my gym session done, which then makes Monday a training calorie day. So then I know I've got 1,900 calories, and I know from experience what I can buy from Tesco or Waitrose in London that's going to be a pre-packed sort of meal that's going to be 400 calories, it's going to hit all my macros, and then I can go and get a grenade bar from a supermarket. So it's once you get into the mindset of I'm not going to fail because I haven't failed yet, then it becomes easier to not fail because you suddenly feel like you have more control over it. Whereas I think before THQ, it would have been, well, I'm in London for 3 days. Everyone's going to go out for a drink at work. I'll just get back on it. You know, that whole sort of, I'll get back on it on Thursday. You know, and I'll be really good. I haven't earned the right to do that yet. You know, so I've got to just make some sacrifices to a certain extent. But it's not. I don't feel like I don't eat poorly. I just know what, in the mornings, right, I'm having scrambled eggs in the hotel because I know that's fine. And then I'm going to have this for lunch, and then that's it. And I still just track it all in MyFitnessPal. It's a bit trickier abroad, especially because you go to Singapore, they're 8 hours ahead, so you're landing at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but your body thinks it's 7 o'clock at night. But it was just a question of saying, right, okay, well, what's the healthiest option on the menu? Is there a gym in the hotel? Yes, there is. Right, so I've got all my workouts done, and I did the best with the equipment that they had, and that's just all I could do, really, do your best. But I managed to lose weight and just stay on track. So.
Brilliant. So it seems to me like your whole mindset of no matter what situation you're in, your whole mindset and your view on food and eating healthy and training is all changed, which is exactly, that is what going all in is. It's like understanding that, it's part of your lifestyle and you've got to live it to a certain degree. And I think some people are scared of living it because they think, well, I've got to live like a monk. And you haven't. No. You've just got to make sure that you're getting the most out of what you're getting, you're seeing the results.
Exactly.
And another thing that I did pick up on then was that you're sort of like the belief in that you've got in yourself now to continue going forward and progress. So as I mentioned, you're only actually 3 months into your journey, so you're 2 weeks into the photo shoot. So what's your belief that you have in yourself that you can actually achieve this? Yeah,
I think, well, the 23rd of November is like an iceberg, sort of dead ahead, and I'm sort of steering for it. So my view is that date is going to happen regardless of what I do. And the thought of getting to that date and not having sort of put it all in and not getting the best photo that I can is kind of very motivating itself. Not least because, I think, okay, well, if I want to get there, I'm going to have to take my top off. And if I don't feel like in good shape, then I'm going to feel like I've let myself down as much as anything, and the family who've made sacrifices for me. So, I kind of want to do it for them and for the kids. And there's all many reasons why I want to do it, but the 23rd of November is going to happen. So, that's my short-term focus.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'll set another goal, and then we'll kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic, and that's exactly that's the mindset of because what's going to happen then is you will see the results that you want to see, but I'm sure you will. But even if you didn't, you will get to the end of it knowing you've given your absolute all, and what that happens, that will fill you with motivation to just continue to get better and better. So that sort of concludes everything that I wanted to get through today. So I want to thank you very much for coming in. I do honestly believe that this is going to help people, because it's all right for sometimes me, even though I personally have been through like a transformation myself, I think it's very easy as all personal trainers for when people are watching it to sort of forget and just think we're just like robots, so it doesn't matter, they can do it. So for someone like yourself coming in for such a short period of time, I think it is really going to help people. And I'm looking forward to is you seeing the results, and then also as well as just to give people sort of an overview of what we do intend to do is once we get you to where you want to be, we will then look at increasing your food to as much as you possibly can whilst maintaining your new body weight and your new body fat levels. And that is the main goal.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, the other thing that, just to add on, that is probably one of the key factors for me is when you go to the session, when you book onto a session, you go to a session, you're surrounded by people, some of whom have already been through it. So you can pick their brains. You can say, how on earth that's your photo on the wall. How did you do that? How did you get over this? What did you find? How did you find doing that? And they'll tell you. And you think, oh, right, that's really helpful. Or they'll say, don't worry about that. It will happen. Or, eat this instead. And so it's almost like you've got a sort of a whole cavern of advice. Every time you go to a session, you can you bounce ideas off people. We've got the sort of Facebook group for this shoot, and so people are exchanging recipe ideas. Everyone's really friendly, and it doesn't feel like a chore. I've got to go to the gym. It's like, do you know what? I get to go to the gym today. Not I have to go. I get to go, and that's the switch, really. I think.
Yeah. That's brilliant. I mean, I'm glad you picked up on that, because that's something that we work very hard on. It's why we don't do any contract, and it's why we set things up as we do. Is the environment, I think, is environment and family, which you've talked on massively, is two massive misunderstood things of body transformation. It's not just about eating better and attending a gym. It's about understanding the whole process, which I think you have. So, brilliant. Thank you very much. And I wish you all the best for the shoot.
Thanks. Cheers, Carl. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.